Okay, so here is the stem, the embossed stem, and I think that turned out so cool. It's definitely an aged look. It's called aged copper, is the name of the embossing powder. But if you look at it straight on, it kind of takes on a green, like that kind of patina green. And then if you hold it in the light, it's got the shimmer. So I'm really happy with that. This is the first time that I've used that embossing powder, so I thought it's pretty cool. The next thing we're going to do is do our tag. And I'm going to show you, this is a set of dies that I got from Paper Tray Ink. So there's a 1 3/4 inch circle, and then there are 4 different corresponding die plates that you can use together. So the 1 3/4 inch circle actually will fit into each of these different shapes, so you can mix it up and kind of do lots of fun different things. I'm going to use the one that looks to me like a sunflower, which is the one that I used on the first pumpkin that I did. So let's go ahead and do that. So first I'm going to take my cream colored cardstock, and I'm using my Epic 6 Quick Cuts machine. Here is the die cutting platform, and then I'm going to put the die on top, and then I'm going to put my paper on top and make a sandwich with the mat. So let's see if I can run this through without hitting the camera. Like I said, I'm kind of at a funny angle here. Alright, so I'm going to turn it around so I can get leverage. Make sure my paper and my die are together and run it through. Okay, here we go. So here's my circle. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just take a piece of brown cardstock. And now I can't find where I put my other piece. Here we go. Okay. So now I'm going to take my brown cardstock and the sunflower shape, and I guess I could have actually done them both together, but I didn't, so let's run that through. Okay, and there we go. There's our other piece. And one side is textured and one side is plain, so I think I'm going to use the textured side. So let's get this out of the way now. And let's get back in order here. The next thing we're going to do is do our stamping. And for our ink, we are going to use Stampin' Up! Chocolate Chip and Close to My Heart Autumn Terracotta. Those are our 2 colors. So I think first what I'm going to do is stamp my larger image that I'm using. The stamp set that I'm using is Paper Tray Ink, and it's called 2009 Autumn Tags, and it is just a great set. I love it. So we're using kind of this wreath shape. I'm going to ink up really well. It's one thing I love about the clear stamps is you can really see what you're doing. Okay, and then again, since I already have my shape cut, I can see exactly how I am positioning my stamp right over the paper. Press down nice and hard. There we go. That looks great. And then for the inside, you can put a sentiment. So I'm going to put this Happy Fall stamp inside. And I'm using the chocolate chip for that part. And again, I can see exactly where I am placing it. There we go. So it overlaps just a little bit, but I'm fine with that. I like that. Put our inks away. Okay. And then I thought I would use a marker. I'm using Stampin' Up, and the color is Old Olive. And I'm just going to give a little bit of green to the leaves here. I love that brush tip. It works really nicely for these kinds of things. And there we go. So there is our tag. And here is our brown base. So we're going to put that just like that. And next we are going to work on putting together the stem. I'll show you how to do that. We have the top piece and the bottom piece. And then for the leaf part, I'm actually going to cut off the stem. We're not going to use the green stem. For two of them, we just want to use the leaf part, because what we're actually going to do is cover up part of the stem like this. And then the back piece, and we're going to put this back part on there like that. Okay, and we're going to put some pop dots in the middle to give it a little bit of dimension, because it's going to be actually be sitting on our pumpkin. So here's our pumpkin, and we're going to actually be putting it up like that. And then the tag is going to be placed kind of here on the side of the stem. So that's how we're going to be putting it all together. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out the 4 leaves from the green that we cut out on the Cricut. I did some embossing. I used the Cuttlebug Divine Swirls embossing folder for the stem part. And so these 2 pieces are going to go back to back, and like I said, we're going to use some pop dots in between, and that's going to go on the top of our pumpkin. And then these leaves are going to sit like this and kind of come out onto the pumpkin as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then the tag, I went ahead and adhered it to the brown die cut, the sunflower, and I did a little bit of inking on the edges, and that is just going to go right on our stem. And I also did ink up the sides of the leaves. So I went ahead and inked. I used Color Box Chalk Olive Pastel. And then what I did is I lightly ran the ink just real gently, real lightly over the top of the embossed parts. So the embossed parts stand out a little bit more. It just gives it some dimension and some depth. So we have all that done, which is good. And now I'm going to show you how I went ahead and put it onto the pumpkin. Okay, so now we're ready to just do our finishing touches, and I went ahead and prepared some things just for sake of time. I decided I wanted to add some stickles to the leaves, so I did that on this piece. And then I also added some stickles to the flourish and some also on top of the embossing. And the stickles that I used are 2 different kinds, lime green, and this other one is called Glitz, and it's called Tiara. So I thought it helped to pick up a little bit of the browns in that antique copper embossing powder. I also added some heavy tape, super sticky tape, this red tape here. We have a button. Oops, it's stuck on there. I can take it off. It's got just a glue dot, but a paper tray ink vintage button. This is a nice little full jar that I got, and some paper tray ink twine. And then I added just a little bit of lime green stickles on the leaves for our segment. So we're ready to put our pumpkin together, and I went ahead and added some stickles. I added some lime green stickles on the leaf part, and then tiara stickles over some of the embossing, just to give it a little bit more shimmer. We have some dimensionals here in the middle, and so we are going to put this together. I have some double-sided tape on the bottom of the stem. That's going to actually go onto our pumpkin. So we're just going to press that together and see, it gives it a little bit of dimension. And then the sticky part, I'm going to put my finger inside here and push down onto the top here of the pumpkin. Okay. Then we have our leaves, and I have some super sticky glue dots on there as well. So I'm going to place the leaves right up against the stem. And if you just slip your fingers inside the pumpkin, if you just push down on it, the strips will separate open a little bit. Push that down real good. Those glue dots are very, very sticky. And then we can just close this back up a little bit. Okay. And then we have our button, which has a glue dot on it as well. So we can put this, I think I'm going to put it right in the middle. And I double tied the twine. And then we have our dimensionals. And we are going to put, I think we're going to go right here with that. And that also just gives it a little bit of dimension. That one's not sticking on too well. Let me try that again. A little bit lower, it looks like. Here we go. There we go. Okay, I had to recharge my flip camera, so sorry about that. Kind of cut off in the last segment. But here we are with the finished pumpkin, and I think it turned out really cute. I did a little bit of rearranging. I had to kind of reposition these leaves a little bit in the stem, but there it is, all finished. It turned out so cute. And something kind of fun is I have these little tea lights that are battery operated with an LED light. And so you can turn them on and they give, you know, a bit of a flicker. And so what I have done is actually slipped this tea light into the pumpkin in the back side, so you can kind of move the strips around a little bit. And you can't obviously, of course, see it right now, but in the evening it looks really pretty all lit up. You can kind of see the light flickering through some of the pumpkin strips, like where it's open a little bit. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I know it was a long one, so I had to split it into 2 different videos, but I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.